In the heart of an ancient, sprawling forest, nestled high within the sturdy branches of an old oak, lived two tiny bundles of fluff. Puku and Puki, fledgling sparrows. They were siblings, born of the same nest, yet as different in spirit as a quiet dawn from a bustling midday. Puku was a warrior. From the moment their mother started teaching them to fly, Puku would peek over the edge of the nest, eyes wide with fear, imagining every possible catastrophic fall. It's too high, Puku would chirp, wings trembling. What if I get lost? What if I never find my way back? Puku preferred the cozy, predictable safety of the nest, even as it grew too small. Puki, on the other hand, was a dreamer and a doer. Puki also felt the flutter of fear in their tiny chest, but it was quickly overshadowed by a fierce curiosity and an unwavering belief in, what if I can? Each time their mother demonstrated a flap or a glide, Puki would mimic it with gusto, falling sometimes, tumbling awkwardly, but always scrambling back up, ready for the next attempt. Puki would chirp, dusting off a feather. That was almost it. Quote, ******. The first flight, embracing the leap. The day came when their mother, with a gentle but firm nudge, insisted they take the leap. Puku froze, paralyzed by dread. Puki, after a deep breath, spread tiny wings and launched into the air. It wasn't graceful. Puki plummeted a few feet, then instinctively flapped, catching air, wobbling, and finally landing clumsily on a nearby branch. Puki chirped with triumph. Puku, seeing Puki's small victory, felt a pang of envy. But the fear remained stronger. It took hours, and their mother's patient encouragement, before Puku finally, reluctantly, tumbled out. Puku fell, flapped in blind panic, and landed hard on a lower branch. Bruised and tearful. I told you, Puku cried. It's too dangerous. I'm staying here. Quote, Puki flew over, landing beside Puku. It's okay to fall, Puku. Puki chirped. The important thing is to try again. The sky is so big, and there are so many wonderful things to see. Quote, Puku watched Puki soar, hesitant at first, then trying again, and again, until Puku, too, could make short, wobbly flights. It was never easy for Puku, but Puki's infectious optimism and sheer joy in discovery slowly chipped away at Puku's fear. Finding food. The scarcity mindset vs. the abundance mindset. As they grew, life presented new challenges. Foraging for food was a daily task. Puku often saw empty patches of ground and immediately thought, there's nothing here, it's all gone, we'll starve. Puku would spend long stretches complaining or waiting for Puki to find something, often settling for less, or getting frustrated and giving up. Why bother? Someone else will have found it already. Puki, however, saw an empty patch and thought, not here, but maybe just over there. Puki would tirelessly explore, pecking under leaves, investigating new bushes, flying further than Puku dared. Puki learned which berries ripened first, which insects hid where, and the best times to visit the farmer's fields. Puki often returned with a plump berry or a juicy worm, sometimes sharing with a hungry Puku. Puki didn't always find food easily either, but Puki's response to scarcity was to increase effort and expand exploration, while Puku's was to contract and despair. The storm. Resilience in the face of adversity. One summer, a ferocious storm ripped through the forest. Their cozy nest was torn apart, and they were separated, clinging to different branches, soaked and terrified. Puku huddled, convinced it was the end. We're doomed. Our home is gone. We'll never survive this. Every gust of wind, every flash of lightning, intensified Puku's panic and sense of helplessness. Puki, though equally terrified, focused on survival. Puki fought the wind, found a sheltered crevice in the bark, and waited out the worst. As soon as the storm calmed slightly, Puki began searching for signs of their family, calling out, assessing the damage, and already scanning for new, safe places to roost. When Puki found Puku, shivering and defeated, Puki chirped, it was scary, Puku, but we're okay. We lost our nest, but we didn't lose each other. Let's find some dry twigs. We can build a new one, maybe even stronger. Quote, Puku's realization. The power of perspective. Years passed. Puku and Puki were now mature birds, with their own families. Puku, while still prone to worry, had learned many lessons watching Puki. Puku noticed that Puki wasn't luckier. Puki just approached life differently. Puki didn't avoid problems. Puki faced them with a curious, tenacious spirit. Puki didn't always succeed immediately. But Puki always tried again. Learning from each attempt, Puku observed how Puki's children, inspired by their parents' positive outlook, were bolder, more resilient, and more resourceful. Puku realized that life wasn't about the absence of storms, but about learning to build a stronger shelter. It wasn't about never falling, but about knowing how to pick oneself up and spread wings again. One day, a young sparrow, new to the area, approached Puku, looking lost and distressed. "I can't find any good seeds," the sparrow chirped nervously. "And I'm scared to fly over that big river to the other side." Puku looked at the river, remembering their own youthful fears. Then, Puku looked at the young sparrow's trembling wings, seeing a reflection of their younger self. A warm, unfamiliar sense of strength bloomed within Puku's chest. "Don't worry," Puku chirped, a calm, steady note in their voice. "The river looks wide, but it's just a little farther than you think. And there are always seeds. Sometimes you just have to look a little harder. Or try a different path. I'll show you." And with that, Puku led the way, not with blind optimism, but with the quiet wisdom of countless falls, countless searches, and countless rebuilds. Puku had finally learned that life's greatest teachings aren't found in avoiding challenges, but in finding the courage to meet them, to learn from them, and to keep flying, one flap at a time. The world was still full of challenges, but now, Puku saw them as opportunities for flight, not just reasons to stay in the nest.